What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Chop Shop here on DraftKings / RotoGrinders. I'm your host, Head Chopper, and what I'm here to do is go over some tournament strategy here. Look at some guys in some different price ranges that I'm willing to fade tonight, and some guys that I'm willing to play in their place. This is based a lot on ownership tonight and potential. So let's get right onto it. So let's start off at the high level. I would suspect that one of the higher owned guys tonight at the upper level of pricing is going to be Russell Westbrook because he typically is. So tonight you're going to get a huge discount on him, down to $11,500. That's enough to drive his ownership through the roof tonight. And while I think he's perfectly acceptable and a fantastic cash game play in tournaments, if I think a guy like this at this price tag is going to be 30, 40% owned, I can fade him because at this price tag, I think you can get away with it. Even though it's cheaper than what it usually is, it's still super expensive. So instead tonight, I'm looking to save a little money here. And I can get an elite guy at $9,000+. This is Jimmy Butler. I save over $2,500 here. On this price tag, and I think Jimmy Butler has a chance to put up a big game. He's consistently been dropping 50+ point games in the recent weeks, and you get to fill a position here, either shooting guard or small forward, mostly shooting guard, that I think on a night-to-night basis is really difficult to find a ton of good value at. So you get to lock up an easy spot, a good spot to lock up. He's averaging 45 DraftKings points versus the Rockets over his last 3 games against them. So he has a good matchup here. There's a lot to like about Jimmy Butler. I think he could put up a game where he drifts off into the low 50s. And if we look at Russell Westbrook and we get Russell Westbrook stalled out in the low 60s, which is a possibility, Russell Westbrook's not going to be that far ahead of Butler, and you saved all this money, which is going to bolster 1 or 2 positions on your team down the road. It's a good fade. So I like this maneuver right here. I'm a big fan of Jimmy Butler tonight. Let's move on to a middle tier here. Chalky guy tonight with all the projections I'm seeing is Andre Drummond of the Detroit Pistons. Been on fire the last 2 weeks. So I get it. Slight price increase. I don't think the price really matters here though. I think that you're looking at the game logs, you're looking at the projections, and that's going to drive a lot of ownership to Andre Drummond tonight. So let's stay at the center position, right around this price range, and even a little bit cheaper. I'm looking at Al Horford as a possible substitute for Andre Drummond tonight. The upside isn't there like it is with Drummond, but the consistency is just as good, if not better, than Andre Drummond. So what you're going to get here is a guy who's a bit cheaper, going against the LA Lakers. The Lakers are allowing over 8% more scoring to the center position this year than the league average. So that's a big number. This is a very good matchup. This is a borderline elite matchup for a center. And Al Horford has been phenomenal when he's been healthy this year for the Boston Celtics. Super consistent. So I don't think you could go wrong with Al Horford. I think he's a lock to get up in the mid-30s and has the potential to climb up even more than that. And if you fade Andre Drummond at super high ownership, there's always the chance it's Andre Drummond. He could get into foul trouble, have a poor game. The opposition could go to foul a Drummond, hack a Drummond, and he could get yanked out of the game, which has been known to happen plenty of times in the past, and thus he can have a bad game, a poor game. There's a lot of different avenues in which Al Horford is a much better play than Andre Drummond tonight. So you just hope that plays out when you do this kind of a fade like this. So last but not least, let's go down to a lower level here and find a guy who's a little bit cheaper and a guy you can sub in there. High ownership tonight, I think Victor Oladipo at $5,200 in this price range is going to draw a lot of ownership, namely because this price tag just doesn't match his minutes and his role with the team. So I think a lot of people are looking at that. As of right now, there's not a ton of savings out there. There's not a super big injury that's going to drive a minimum salary player on your roster. So you're already kind of scrapping for as much value as you can. Well, you get a starting shooting guard like Oladipo for only $5,200. It's going to boost up the ownership on him. So instead, I'm going to go $600 higher here, and I'm going to go with Seth Curry. I think Oladipo draws most of the ownership here, and Seth Curry kind of hangs back in the wings with a little bit of a price increase and doesn't draw that ownership. But man, has he been good lately? Listen, 34.9 DraftKings points per game in his last 5 games. He's been on fire with the injuries to the Dallas backcourt. I'll be the first one to admit, super wrong on this guy. Thought he was an afterthought. Thought he was more like an Austin Rivers, just the nepotism in the NBA. But let's be honest, man, this guy's on fire. So and he's proved me wrong. He's really good. Not as good as his brother, but you can tell it's in the lineage there. So Seth Curry at shooting guard, I think, is a really good play tonight off of Oladipo. Probably coming in at much lower ownership. So we'll see how that plays out. With that being said, guys, that's Friday. That's the Chop Shop. Hope you have a successful night tonight and a good weekend this weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl, and I'll be back next week for some more Chop Shop. Good luck.